बोलायला भीती तर तू 2 शब्द बोललास की लगेच तुझा नंबर आला.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Good. We'll wait for another minute and then we'll immediately start. I hope you had a good meeting with the administration, management. Are your issues solved, resolved? Well, anyway, shall we start with our session? Welcome back to this fourth live class on the subject management fundamentals. We have almost done with 3 sessions earlier. Can somebody do a small recap? See, this is the very first question, which is always going to be there, and the amount of recall you can do, the amount of recap you can do, that is going to be the feedback for me in terms of what exactly you are following, right? You can start with the first session. Just raise your hand and in brief keywords. I don't want the entire episode to be recalled, right? I just want the keywords, whatever we have done up till now. And see, repeatedly we will be doing it because, as I said, the importance of keyword. We know that without this keyword, things are not going to be completed, right? I just try to reshare the thing again. Just a minute. Yes, about the recap.
हो सुरू झालंय.
Yes, anybody who can just
हा लेक्चर सुरू झालंय.
Viraj, your mic is
हा
on.
कमा कमा
Just a minute. Yes, Varun, you can just recap. Varun,
Yeah.
are you there?
I am, sir. I am. I think few important keywords that we have been discussing. One is post-COP.
Right.
That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting.
Right.
Then efficiency, effectiveness. I think these two are very critical as we talk about management fundamentals.
Right.
You have different levels of management. Starting from operating first line, middle level, executive level. That was one. Then you have management functions. Again, the complete cycle. It starts from planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling.
Right.
And then you also have VUCA, which is basically...
Yes, yes. Yes. What else? The definition, most of the part you have covered, right? And last time we just touched upon MBO. Can you recall what was MBO and what was it related to? MBO. We just started with that.
Yeah, management by objectives, right?
Exactly. Good. Wonderful. And see, it was from unit 2, right? That is planning. It is one of the technique of planning, that is management by objective. And most of the professional organization, they are doing it. You name a company like Intel, you name all sort of professional organization, and they are doing it by MBO only. We'll be coming to the reason behind it, why it is needed. Because see, for a gigantic or for a large organization or large corporate, right? Things has to be aligned. Things has to be aligned with the organizational goal. If the people below, I mean to say grassroots level, particularly lower level managers or operational workers, if they are not aware about the organizational goals, they'll never come to know for what they are working for, right? What is the mission and vision of the organization. So MBO helps the organization in that direction. MBO is very important. Knowingly and unknowingly, as I said, many of we do it in our individual life also, right? So because we have certain goals for ourselves. If we talk from the family point of view, even our family has certain goals. Yes, who is this? Kabra, you'd like to contribute anything?
Hello, good morning. Sir, this is my first lecture, so I'm a little overwhelmed. I
Okay.
just wanted to know that in the learning nuggets, I'm not able to find the subject names like we are discussing right now. So, why are they different? I wanted to make sure that before the next lecture, I can study and come back.
Okay, okay. See, that was the issue that was supposed to be resolved, and that is the feedback I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. You had a meeting on Saturday, I suppose, right? At not Saturday, yesterday, right? If I'm not wrong, or was it earlier to that?
It was
Yeah,
on
yeah, Monday we had.
1st, day
Monday,
before
sir.
yesterday.
Okay,
On
okay,
Monday.
fine, fine. So, what was the outcome? I just want to know.
Sir, it's not completely sorted. I think we still have a lot of
Issues.
concerns, but
Okay.
some part of it was addressed. Well, kind of addressed.
Fine, fine, fine. Because see,
So
yeah.
we've got to sort a little bit more. But I think just for the person, the new person who has
Yes.
joined in, right? I request just drop in your number here. We've got like a WhatsApp
Okay,
group,
cool.
right?
I'll do that. Thank you.
And we can.
Yes, thank you so much. That would really help. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Just a moment. One.
Thank you, sir, and sorry for interrupting.
No, no, it's perfectly okay. See again, one of yeah. See those who have joined because earlier, last session it was 101 student who were present, and those who are newcomer they can raise their hand and they can just introduce in brief. See, not consuming much of a time. In hardly in 2 sentences, you can just come out so that I come to know whether I'm addressing to the people who were already there, to the students who were already there, and who are the newcomers, so that accordingly, and that's why this is recap, irrespective of somebody joins new or not, recap I'll be doing for all of my session, right? And the reason is very simple, so that we can link, we can correlate our present session with whatever we have done earlier. And see, management, it's not a one stop process, it is a continuous process, right? And whatever we will discuss is going to have certain linkages, certain connection with our past sessions. So that's why, and it's going to help out the students who are going to join new also, right? Saraswati, you want to contribute something?
Yeah, hi. I'm also new and this is my first class and I have no idea where to start from. What is the head? What is the tail? Which book am I supposed to refer? What are the textbooks? What are the topics that I'm supposed to study? I have no idea. So I need some clarity on this because I feel I'm in the middle of the sea right now, not knowing how to swim.
This is your first class?
Yes.
First session? Okay, fine. See, anyway, every time, as I said, I am going to do a recap. Now that is going to help you out. And see, you people have not missed out on much because only 3 sessions has taken place, and rightly pointed out by Abhishek, I suppose, at the start, very start. Who was that? Not Abhishek. He has done
Yeah,
a
it was
recap.
Abhishek. Yeah, it was Abhishek. Yeah.
Abhishek. Okay, okay, good. Nice, Abhishek. So Abhishek has already done the recap, and keywords are important. Let me again remind
That
you.
was Varun. Sorry, that was Varun. The recap was Varun.
Varun, exactly. Exactly. Because now 68 students are there, and it's very difficult to recall the name of each and all of you, right? So anyway, what is more important is that we follow the concept, we follow the keywords, right? And this is for all the students who have joined new, because see, practically it is not possible to cover up whatever we have done up till now, right? Because there was plenty of interaction, and that is what I want, because management is not a one-way communication. It has to be learned through interaction only, and this is part of communication also. That is one of the component of our subject, management fundamentals. Today we are going to cover up unit 2, which talks about planning, right? So let me take you to the next slide. This is what we have talked earlier. I have replaced the slide with synonyms and antonyms, no, not synonyms, right? The opposite word, volatility, and these are something which a manager is supposed to address for these issues. Now these are the VUCA, VUCA world, VUCA environment we have talked about. We have talked about volatility. Now how to tackle this volatility? What exact skills and traits and understanding the manager should have? See, manager, what I mean is management, right? It includes everybody. It includes lower level manager, it includes middle level. But when we talk about vision, we all know visions are usually, when talking about organization, it are taken by the top level management most of the time, 99% of the time. Whatever vision the top level management is having, it is going to trickle down, it is going to creep down to below, because they are the people who are the captain of the ship, right? So captain of the ship, he should have certain vision, right? If the vision is lost, then the entire direction and entire delegation will go wrong, right? Whatever commands you are passing downwards from top to bottom, if vision is not correct, right? Vision, what I mean to say is the organizational objectives also, right? We can narrow it down to organizational objectives and organizational goal. And that is what we are going to discuss today. So volatility, again, a small recap, what exactly volatility means and what has vision to do with it. Anybody can explain it? What is volatility and what has vision to do with it? Anybody in the class? It's a very
Uncertainty, uncertainty about the current market. For example,
we'll follow one practice. Always try to raise your hand, right? And after that, once Devesh is there. Fine. Devesh?
Yes, so unstability, visions tell you that the long-term goal that you need to achieve. So this will help in removing the instability in the organization.
Exactly. See, volatility talks about what? Fluctuation.
Sir,
right?
one black patch is there. Is it visible to everyone or only I am seeing?
No. Deliberately it is coming. Don't worry, because I have opened up the participation list, right? Participant list. That's why. But see, once I move this slide, I'll be removing that. Don't worry, right? So, just a moment. Yeah, is it visible now to all of you?
Now it's okay.
Okay, fine.
No,
See,
sir.
in between those patches may come, but don't worry about it. What is important is we should be able to follow the concept. We should be able to follow the fundamentals, right? Management fundamentals is our subject. So, who was that? Who answered? Devesh, right? So he has correctly pointed out, if the vision is clear, if the vision is long term, right? So this small volatility or fluctuation also is another synonym for volatility. A high level of fluctuation, right? The prices are dropping down all of a sudden. See, this word is usually oftenly used in related to stock market, but it can be used in our day-to-day life also, right? If things are not moving the way you have planned it, and there is a lot of changes that are happening. It can be because of n numbers of things. It can be environmental factor, talking about organization. It can be political, as I said last time. It can be social factors. It can be legal. It can be technological. All sort of external factors usually have implication on the organizational goal. It will affect your organizational goal, even though you have a very clear vision. Yes, who is there? Just a minute. Let me try to unmute. I think. Pankaja, you are not unmuted. Fine. Oh, I done it. Okay, fine. So what was I talking? All this external environment, external factor, and to a certain extent, many internal factors also. Like what if there is all of a sudden iteration? People see that this is what has happened with IT a few months back. There was plenty of iteration in IT industry. Now these are all internal factors, and which may be very volatile in nature. It is not that steadily people are living. All of a sudden, if people put up their paper in mass, then that you can count it as volatility. One of the volatility related to HRM, because things were not predicted, and all of a sudden people have started living, right? So there is a big void, there is a big gap, and how to fill it? For that you need vision. Vision, I'm to say, which will take care of situation like this. Now this volatility will automatically go away if the management is having a wonderful vision, short term as well as long term. They should look out for both, right? And nowadays long term visions are not that much urgent and important, because there's a lot many updates, there are a lot many technological change which are happening. So many a time you need to focus more on short term goals rather than long term, because if you fulfill your short term goal, we all know long term goals will get automatically fulfilled. All of you following me? Am I clear up till now? Any issue in this? Pooja, you are not unmuted. Sorry, you are not muted. I muted you. Okay, fine. So uncertainty and understanding. What understanding? Why should a management should have? And again, one example of, see, we have already discussed, but let us come out with many other examples, different example, because your contribution, this will give me an insight about your thought process, how exactly you are following the concept, right? Uncertainty, any example, and understanding. See here, what we are doing, we are correlating these two opposite words, right? Uncertainty and understanding. What exactly is uncertainty? Anybody? Just please raise your hand. Or else, yeah, Abhishek is there again. Fine, Abhishek, please go ahead.
So uncertainty is like, we are not clear. It's like kind of say for example job losses, right? So maybe there is like a some cost cutting happening in the organization, right? So that could be like a lot of
Anything which is
uncertainty.
contingent.
Yes, who is next? Abhishek, fine.
Contingent, anything which is contingent, automatic, without we have not prepared for, and automatic it's coming at random, that is contingent.
See, uncertainty has something to do with changes, right? Prediction also we can call. Yes.
Unclear about the present. So.
Unclear about the present. Excellent, right? Present as well as future, right? You are
Yes,
not
sir.
sure about the future as well.
Example
Present
of
as well as future.
uncertainty, I think, would be when we had the COVID that hit us.
Yes, Shivangi,
So,
can you
when
repeat again?
uncertainty example would be when COVID hit us, we were all uncertain what is going to happen, what is going to be the plan of work, the flow. So that's uncertainty. But to make it, as a manager, to make it more understanding, one can have a meeting, chalk down the plan of action, tell them how it's going to be done, future, like, how work from home was introduced, how the, further things were taken into.
Sure, yeah.
So that's all understanding.
Right, excellent, good, wonderful. See, this example is very common. See, this VUCA, when we talk about VUCA, COVID-19, you can always quote for all these four, in fact, right? Because their uncertainty is not certain about the present, at the same time about the future, right? We know the future is not predictable, so that is very uncertain. We never know whether the war, this example again we have taken, whether the war will really happen between Russia and Ukraine. We are uncertain about it. Nobody can clearly say, nor even the president of Russia himself. He wants to go in a war. Fine, that is what we are coming to know, right, from the news channels. But what about the president of Ukraine? Does he really want the war? No, he do not. That is what we are following, right? So future is not very certain, and we are very much aware about it, right? It can be our day-to-day life also. You never know whether you will get a lottery and whether things will go against you. It can be talking about individuals also, right? Complexity, you all know about it. Complex. Life is very complex. It is not simple, right? And the opposite is clarity, right? When things are very complicated, all you have to do is
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು
see, it's my humble request to all of you. Kindly keep your mic muted, right? Whenever you want to contribute, raise your hand, because see, that is going to disturb the class. We all know it, right? Keep your mic muted, and whenever you want to talk, just raise your hand. I'll call your name, and this is what we are going to follow for our each session, right? Just raise your hand. Maybe at a certain point of time, I may not be able to call all of you on the dais sort of thing. You can call this as our dais. But please raise your hand, and after that unmute yourself. This is my humble request to all of you. Fine. So why we are talking all about this? Because this is the role a manager. And see, once we do MBA, we are going to put ourselves in the shoes of manager, right? And if these things are not clear, because manager's job is not going to be simple. He'll be facing all this problem each and every day. It's not that it will come once in a while and it will go away and things will be like 9 to 5 sort of thing. No, things talk from the private or corporate point of view, talk from the government point of view. Things are not what it used to be few years back. Forget about decades. अभी ये 2-3 साल अपन ने देखे हैं. What are the uncertainty that happened, how ambiguous things were. We were not knowing whether government is going to put a lockdown or they are going to do it in a phased manner. Now also things have changed for good now. Most of the COVID cases has gone down, but still things are very ambiguous of if the fourth waves come down, then whether it will be something like second wave or the policies of government will be different this time, right? So this word is very important, talking about ambiguity, agility, right? Agile leadership भी बोलते हैं बहुत बार उसको. Agility, what is that? Agile. Anybody in the class?
Sir,
Abhishek, yes.
So agile is like the ability to kind of move with the situation, ideally.
Right.
Right. The flexibility to move is agile. So agile, I mean, from development is like, we start with like a certain product and we kind of incrementally add to that. But I think here agility specifically means, I think, to kind of shift and to kind of, I would say, change roles or like kind of take different hats to sort of deal with ambiguity.
Good, fine. Devesh, you want to contribute something? Abhishek,
How fast?
you're correct. Yes, Devesh.
how fast we react to the problem that we face.
Good. See,
That
I'll
is
use
the
more alternate words for this. Flexibility, Abhishek has already used, right? Nature or the characteristics, or what I would say, you are having that strength of adapting to the changes, right? Adaptability is also one of the word. Agile leadership is how efficient you are in adopting the change and overcoming those ambiguity, right? So that is agility, right? How flexible you are, simple as that. I'm not, and the opposite is rigid, right? Agility के just opposite लेना है, it's rigid. I'm stubborn. I do not want to change. Let the world change. Let I go in losses. That is not going to help the organization. If you are not able to adopt, and there are plenty of examples we have seen one video last to last time, that those companies who were leading a few years and decades back, they are not in the list, right? Forbes 500, this is a magazine which published a list of top 500 companies in the world. Every year they publish it, and what we see is there is a rapid change. Earlier the things were quite stable, they were quite rigid, I would say. There were hardly few companies which were added and few companies which were going out of the list. But now what is happening is there are plenty of changes. I would say the topmost company will vanish, or it may go to bottom, it may go to 50th level. You never know what is going to happen. And the simple reason why this company are not able to sustain, see again this is one of the keywords we have used, they are not able to sustain their position, the topmost position. The reason is simple, they are not agile in nature, they are not adaptive to the changes. Whatever, see, changes as I said will come not only as technological, it may come as a political, the way the war is happening, right? This is one of the example, recent example. It may be legal, it may be environmental, as I said, it may be social, all sort of these changes. If you are not vigilant enough, if you are not careful, and if you do not have this vision of knowing what exactly is going to happen. See, we all know we cannot predict the future, but still we can to a certain extent estimate what is going to happen, right? We have that knowledge because COVID was there was a drop in share market, we all know that. There was a drop in the sales of most of the corporates, right? And they were knowing this is not going to improvise in the short run, right? It's going to take some time, and it took almost 2 years, to get back to normal. Maybe the stock market went to its original level in years time, but talking about the sales of all sort of goods and to normalize the thing, it took a lot of time. Even now the things are ambiguous, we all know it, right? The things are uncertain. So that is the reason why I wanted to show this slide again and keep this word, because these are very important. These are very, very important words, terminology, and these are all keywords. So all of you getting what I'm saying up to now?
Sir, just a quick one. Like, say we are kind of going through VUCA to understand MBO, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
See, I'm
Sure.
I'm coming to that. Don't worry. Because
No, I'm sorry. No question. I'm just
okay,
correlating
no.
that.
I'm going to that only. Don't worry. Because see, unless until our concepts and fundamentals are clear, moving down, I don't see that you'll be following all the things. Right? Let me take.
Sure.
See, this is just a summary of whatever we have done last time. Why managers are important. Deliberately, I have kept this slide. Just a moment. Who's my pujas? Yes. Fine. Just a minute. Yeah, see, this is what we have done up till now. This is why managers are important. We all know, and how can they become important if they know all these fundamental problems or the issues that are going to crop up, and if they are quite adaptive, if they are agile in their nature, then only they can be a good manager. Then only we can call them as a good manager. So I won't be reading out all this thing. This talk about VUCA only, right? Chaotic, complex, uncertain. This is all the manager should be knowing. This is again, see, another issue we have addressed was ethical responsibility. Somebody has nicely given the meaning also. What is ethical? Ethical is something which is morally right or wrong, right? Maybe it is legally right, but it may not be morally right. There are many examples we have already taken, so I won't be going to in this also. Let me straightway take you to this second unit, the meaning of planning. See, this is the first letter in the acronym POST-CORP. I hope all of you remember it, right? So planning. Now, what planning exactly means? Planning may look very simple, but defining it is very complicated, complex. Planning is nothing, it is a function that determines in advance what should be done in simple words, right? Planning is something knowing in advance what we are going to do tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, in a quarter's time, that is 3 months, or maybe in a fiscal year, that is 1 year, or maybe talking about long term, which is usually of 5 years and above. In long term, earlier long term was something 10-15, nowadays 5 years is considered as long term vision, right? So if you are well versed, if you know in advance, so if you know in advance what things are to be done, right? What exactly we are going to function. Do we need to recruit many people? Are we going to increase our sale in the coming time? See, it can be from many perspective. From marketing point of view, those department or those guys or those employees will be talking about sales and revenues, right? In terms of selling the goods or services. But from HR point of view, it can be like recruiting new talent, right? And taking care of expansion. It can be any objective. Whatever objective is determined by the top management. So planning is knowing in advance, and all of we know knowing in advance is not very easy because things cannot be predicted very easily, right? You need to plan it out. That's why it is called as planning. Planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and who to do it, right? Who is going to do it? It involves anticipating the future for the organization as well as for the individual teams, right? So this is a very simple definition, and we all know, we all are doing planning. The way you have planned, in this example, the way you have planned for what? For today's session, right? Probably you will be doing the planning in near term. It is also called as near term, which is very close by, for your examination in coming days, right? Did you know when is your examination? This is out of the context. Anybody?
May, June.
May or June. Okay, fine. So you have how much? This almost Feb is almost over now. I would count it as over only. So you have what? March, April. So accordingly you will be doing planning. Ki my management fundamental, fine, I have followed this much, I have not followed this. So I will be focusing this much attention only. Whereas for few numerical subject, I will be focusing more because I am finding it a bit difficult. So what indirectly you are doing? You are planning for the future in advance, right? And you will try to stick to it. There might be deviation. I'll be coming to that also, the process of planning. See, this is the nature of planning, pervasive in nature. See, planning is goal oriented. Obviously, there has to be a goal. आपको decide करना पड़ेगा कि how much percentage I want in my MBA, right? If you just say, fine, I just want to pass, that can be one of your goal. but there has to be certain goal. You have to set goal, otherwise the process of planning will never start. The goal can be, as I said, from marketing point of view, to increase the turnover by 20% of the sales, for the sales, right? If I am selling 100 items, then in coming quarter, I'll be selling 120 items. It can be automobile, four-wheeler, it can be examples. There are plenty of examples, right? Planning is a primary function, we all know it, because postgrad in itself says that the management start with planning. So it's a first function, it's a basic function. Without planning, no other functions would be redundant, they won't be of any use. So planning is the first step, and if planning goes wrong, then your organizing, staffing, directing, all sort of thing, coordinating, reporting and budgeting will go wrong. Because it's something like research. If your objectives are not correct, if your title of the research is not correct, which is the primary objective, the title of the research. I won't be going into research because I think that subject will be somewhere in next sem or maybe third sem. But when we talk about research, you have to find out the problem areas, and from that you have to set certain objectives. Now those objectives determine the direction of your research. Likewise, planning will determine what exactly you need to do in organizing, staffing and all other further steps of this postgrad, right? So I want to see planning is directed toward efficiency. We all know why do we plan? So as to save on our resources. Like first, from an individual point of view, it can be saving on time, right? It can be saving on the energy, right? Because I don't want to slog out at the 11th hour. So I'm reading, I'm studying every day half an hour, maybe 1 hour, and that is how things are going to help me out, right? Just a minute, I'll take a break for 1 minute time. Just a minute. Yes, sorry for the break. So what we were talking about was planning, right? So let us move further. Let us see the process of planning. See, this is the first step, as I said, and it is very, very important. Let me tell you, if your planning goes wrong, then there is no point in sticking to further steps, right? And this is what planning process talks about. Objectives, as we were talking, objectives or goals also we can call them. Those are not synonym, right? But goals are more broader in nature compared to objective, and we have seen this, we have discussed all this thing in our earlier session. Developing premises. Now what can this be? Establishing the objectives, developing premises from the point of view of objectives, right? You have to see to it that to fulfill these objectives, you are creating an environment, you are creating an ambience, right? So that your objectives are fulfilled. Like as I said, if you want to increase your sale by 20%, then accordingly effort has to be taken in that direction, like recruiting additional manpower if you want, doing promotion from the point of view of increasing the sale. There can be n numbers of factors which will increase your sale, right? It can be working on the product itself so that the quality is improvised and people find it better purchasing that product compared to the competitors. So plenty of examples are there. That is nothing but developing the premises, like creating an environment for whatever objectives you have set up for yourself. For individual objective, as I have given you the example of examination, if you want a CGPA of 7 point something, which is very excellent, right? So accordingly you have to study. If you have planned for or maybe if you are just studying for half an hour, you might have to increase, double it for 1 hour or maybe 2 hours, depending on your grasping capacity, depending on the overall knowledge of the subject, depending on how much session you have attended, right? How much reading you have done. So this particular premises has to be developed. And who is going to do it from the corporate point of view? it is going to involve everybody, right? Management, top level management is always going to there. They'll be giving you a vision, right? They'll be putting you on mission, but it involves participation from the teams, whoever team is in charge. For example, I've given the example of marketing. So marketing team and the management has to align the objective of organization with the objective of marketing, right? Evaluating and selecting of the alternative. See, there may be n numbers of alternative. It is not that once you set an objective, like example can be achieving. Again, let us go back to the very simple example of 20% increase in sale, right? So alternative can be anything like concentrating more on advertisement rather than sales promotion. It can be concentrating more on personal selling. It can be concentrating more on digital marketing. Nowadays, digital marketing is very common with most of the corporates. They are finding it very good. They are finding it comparatively less expensive compared to the traditional marketing. So this particular thing is very important, right? Alternative, knowing the alternative, where to focus on. Shall I put my entire budget on advertising, or shall I focus something on what? Something on digital marketing, right? So individually, again, you can have various alternatives, whether to study in the morning, whether to take a leave for, if you are working, whether to take leave for some day before the exam. So you can have number of paths through which you can reach this particular objectives. But amongst this alternative, you have to select the best possible alternative. That is formulating the derivative plan. Ultimately, what you are going to do is you are going to select the best possible alternative, and what that alternative will be. What that alternative will compose of. Can somebody tell me? If you are having 4 alternatives, which alternative you want to select? Keywords. There are 2 keywords we have seen in the definition of management. What will be the best alternative? Anybody? Please raise your hand. Yes, Abhishek and Shikha is there. Let us give a chance to Shikha. Garg.
Sir, actually I had raised my hand earlier. This is my second class, and I just wanted to ask that at the start of the planning part, you had mentioned that it is the first one in the acronym. So what does that acronym? I wanted to know actually.
So you are not attending the earlier class, right? See, acronym. Yes.
This is my second one actually.
Okay. See, acronym was nothing but, let us take it as a recap for other people.
Thank you.
Komal has also raised her hand. I'll come to each and all of you. See, acronym was, instead of me telling, Komal, can you just brief out Sakshi, who was that? Shikha, right?
Sure, sir.
Yes. Komal, yes, post-corp, what is that?
Yes, post-corp is the basic fundamental on which management works.
Right.
I can spell out the post-corp. What is the acronym?
Yes.
P is for planning, O is for organizing, S is for staffing,
D.
C can be for coordinating or controlling.
Coordinating, controlling, you can mix up it.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
R is for reporting, B is for budgeting.
Right. D you have missed out, that is directing. Which has something to do with leadership, right? Directing is, again, that is overlapping thing, but not a synonym exactly, right? Who is there? Varun, you want to ask anything?
Oh, so I just wanted to add to it, like, this is the acronym given by Luther Gulick in 1937.
Right, exactly. Right, good. So you are attending it sincerely. Thank you so much. And see, this is going to help you out. See, even though things may look very simple, see, this is no rocket science, but if your fundamentals are good, then things will be very simple for you when you plan something, when you are into management, because these fundamentals are clear. So, and see, this is all art as well as science. We'll be coming to that also at the end of the session. Not today, maybe in coming session. Whether management is art or science, it is both. We all know it, right? Science, why? Because these are sort of formulas only. You are supposed to follow this pattern. Maybe there can be a deviation depending on what exactly you are selling or what exactly is the setup of your organization. Things may differ a bit, but more or less the framework is going to remain same. Okay? So let us not move further. And see, this is again asking for cooperation and participation. This is very important because management in itself, we all know it's a teamwork. It's not of individual characteristics or somebody can perform alone. That is usually done by the artists, where they, like, singers are there, painters are there, right? They do not require many a time teamwork. Maybe a singer might require his orchestra to perform along with him or her, but many a time these artistic people, they have their individualistic goal. But when it comes to organization, when it comes to corporate, it requires participation and cooperation of everybody. Nobody can take a credit for the success of the organization. The credit will go to the entire stakeholders, whoever have contributed directly or indirectly, right? And finally, this is nothing but a feedback process, review and follow, which will again take you back to this, establishing the goals. Okay, I hope this process is clear with all of you. Any issue in this? See, again, I have tried to simplify it in 6 steps. These are also 6 only. This is like identifying the resources, what was developing premises, knowing how much time I have with me, right? How much resources. Again, resources keywords, we have talked about M's. What are those? Anybody? Just a moment. Let me find out. Komal, yes. Gajakosh is there. She has raised the hand. What are the resources and how do you remember it? I have simplified the thing for you. And I am going to add one more M today, which you will never find in book.
So this is my class right now.
It is your first class, right? First session.
Yeah, first session.
Yeah. What can be the resources from the organization point of view? Rudar, Priya, yes, you want to contribute?
So the manpower,
right,
machineries,
right,
money,
pardon me, yes, fine. I'll take these 3. Suchi, you want to contribute?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I say that we can define resources under the classification of human and non-human resources.
Yes, that can be good, fine, right. Humans are very, in fact, it can be classified this way only because human resources are the most important resources and retaining those resources is very important. So the classification can be done this way also. A very, very, very good answer, human and non-human. Fine, human, we'll take it as main necessarily do not mean. Main necessarily do not mean only, I would say it's not a gender bias, it includes men as well as women, right? So it includes your employees, it can be men as well as women, right? So human resource, as I said, human resource are what? Human resource are your employees, they are very, very important. And non-human resource, what are those? Money, method, machine, right? Can you name something for time? Time is also a very important resource, we all know it. What is the full form of AM and PM? We talk about 10, 12 PM, 1 PM or 9 AM. What is the full form?
anti-meridian and post-meridian, sir.
Right? So I'll remove A and P, meridian, right? So you can count meridian as also one of the resource because it talks about time. All of you getting me what I want to say? Which will be counted as non-human, right? So method, machinery, not manpower will go as a human, money, right? And meridian. These are all, you can see why we are talking in terms of M. This was to recall. See, it's not a thumb rule to always talk in terms of resource. You can talk about domain also, like marketing is one of your resources, HR is one of your resources, IT department will be one of your resources, operations will be one of your resources, supply chain, logistic, whatnot. You talk about domains, you can subdivide this domain also. Marketing, when I say I can talk about sales department is one of the resources. You may be very strong in that. Your competitor may not be that much of not be having that much of strength in that particular area. So these are all the resources. Okay. I hope things are clear up till now. Somebody has raised that. Rudir, Priya, you want to contribute anything?
No, sir. Actually, it's showing. I'll also contribute to that.
Okay, fine. So let us come to the topic. What exactly we wanted to discuss today. See, MBA is nothing but a method of planning, right? Because planning, आप बोलोगे sir, you are talking about planning, but how to do it, right? So MBA is one of the technique which is prominently used by most of the corporates, and the reason behind using this technique is very simple. The mission, as I said, any organization will always start with a mission. There will be a mission, I've quoted this example, like to be the topmost automobile manufacturer in the world on this globe, or to be the best FMCG in India can be the mission of the corporate. If there are somebody is doing it in FMCG, to be the best Ayurvedic manufacturing company, Ayurvedic products manufacturing company in India or globally, the mission can be anything. It depends on what sort of vision the management is having, right? Mission, vision, then you have what objectives and goals, right? So this particular thing has to be aligned with the team members. Now, who are these team members? Team members are nothing but the employees. All of you getting me what I'm saying? Team members you can subdivide it into domain wise also, and you can subdivide it into management, the way we have seen the hierarchy last time. It can be somebody who belongs to top management, middle level and lower level management, and to align the team members goal with the company's objectives, so the team members feel more motivated and included at the work. Sutapa, Datta, you want to contribute?
Sir, this is my first class. I just want to ask that will you share this all PDF?
Yes. I do not know what exact interaction you had with the management, but this will be shared. Don't worry. It may take some time, but all this thing you will be getting the study material also, which will include all this thing, right? In notes form, sort of book form. And one book was already shared by Komal, which is being referred in our syllabus, Robbins. Fundamentals of Management by Robin. It is an excellent book. So don't wait for the study material to come. Fine, it may take some time, or you may get it today or tomorrow also. But apart from the whatever literature our admin is going to supply you, you make it a point that you refer to books also, good reference books I am talking about. One PDF by Robbins on Fundamental of Management, which is of 500 pages. To be very precise, 499 some pages are there. You just keep on reading. Don't just stick to the syllabus. Syllabus has its own limitation. We all know it. And management is not something which is restricted to a syllabus. It is restricted. Why? Because our resources are limited. We are supposed to study the entire concept in a given period of time, right? With given session. But this should not deter you. This should not stop you from studying further. This is my personal advice to all of you. You can take it advice. You can take it request also. Keep on studying, keep on reading few reference books which are good. Robin is one which I have referred plenty of time. Okay. Sutapa, is your question clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. I know many of you joined. See, first session it was only class of 60. Now last time it was 101. Today it is almost 1887. That is, I can count it. It has gone to 90 also. Few of you have joined now, but see, I'm very much sorry, we cannot cover up the entire thing again and again, right? That is one thing. And as it is, I said, we are doing recap again and again. So what my advice is, just go through the reference book so that you can match up whatever you have missed out. Okay. So this is a bookish definition. See, this definition was given by Peter Drucker in the year 1954 in his book The Practice of Management. It is again one of the very good book. It's available with most of the free resources, free sharing, means you can just Google it out on internet and you will find this book. What does Peter Drucker says? The management of objectives is the process of defining the objectives within an organization so that the management and the employees agrees to the objectives and understand what they need to do in order to achieve them, right? So employee won't be having objectives on their own. Fine, they can have their own objective, but they has to be aligned with the objective of the organization. Then and then only the organization will move forward, right? There won't be any chaos because things are very clear. Again, repeatedly the management has to bring into the notice that these are our objectives. You just align, you just break down this objective with your domain, right? It can be IT related, it can be operation related, it can be supply chain related, it can be HR related. So this is a simple definition of what MBO talks about, and it was coined way back in 1954. There onwards, almost all sort of organizations, I have given you the examples also. Intel, the Amazon, this present days, most of the IT firms have also adopted it. Maybe they have done it knowingly, unknowingly, but many of them have referred to this Peter Drucker's concept of the practice of management, which talks about MBO, right? Is the thing clear up till now? See, again, I've tried to simplify the process of this MBO. It's always start with the objectives. See, MBO in itself has management by objectives, right? So there has to be objective. It can be a one objective, there can be more than one. It's not at all necessary there has to be only one objective, because it's a plural, right? Objective here is not objective, but objectives, right? So it can be one also, as I said, it can be more than that. It depends what is the mission of the organization, right? Now translate this objective to the employees. You just communicate it. You just tell them this is what we are supposed to achieve. That we want to be a market leader in what television, for example, right? We want to be a market leader in e-commerce. You can narrow down your goal. You want to be market leader in Maharashtra, for example, or for India, or for that matter in North India, South India. You can define your objectives likewise, right? You can call them as limitations also at a certain point of time. But objective has to be clearly defined. If your objectives are not defined, and all of you know, objective will compulsorily start with what? How do you read an objective? Anybody? Objective will compulsorily start with one word. What is that? It's a very general knowledge question, nothing to do with management. Because this is a mistake most of the student makes, is what I found. Even students who are pursuing their PhD, while defining the objective, they miss out this very important word. And what is that? How will the objective start?
Is it a goal?
Pardon me?
Goal.
Goal is the sub part or subset of objective, I would say. See, reading out the objective, for example.
To be like Salat, to be the best kind of thing.
To exactly. Good. Abhishek, was it answered by Abhishek?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, Abhishek. See, it's a very, very simple, it's a common English in fact. See, all objective will compulsorily start with 2, T-O, not T-O-O, right? 2, to achieve CGPA of 7 point something, right? In my MBA. To be the market leader in e-commerce company, as a e-commerce company. To achieve growth in sales of 100% in coming 2 years, right? So always remember, see why I am discussing it is because this is a very common mistake done by most of the students, right? Even by PhD scholars who are doing their PhD. So it will compulsorily start with 2. You have to translate it to the employee's objective. Now this will be the subset of what? The employee's objective will be the subset of the organizational objective. From the marketing point of view, the objective may differ, but it has to be aligned with the organizational objective. That is what I want to tell you, right? Monitor the performance. Now, who is going to monitor this performance? Very simple question.
Manager.
Exactly, managers, right? Supervisors, managers, top management, all your superiors are going to supervise or monitor the performance. Whoever is my immediate boss, the keyword or proper word is superiors, and whoever is working below me are my subordinates, right? You can use this word for the person to whom you are reporting. You will call them, they are my superior. Boss is more of a slang word, right? Boss अपन use करते हैं frequently, but boss from the corporate point of view is not that correct, right? So from management point of view, we call anybody to whom we are reporting as our superior, right? He is my superior. He can be immediate level superior. He or she can be top level management. They are my superior. All the people in the hierarchy above me are my superior. All the people in hierarchy below me are my subordinates. Yes, Kripal Singh, you want to contribute?
Yeah, quick point. Actually, I think today the practice has changed to senior colleagues and junior colleagues. In fact, subordinate and superior is also, considered a kind of, negative when we are reporting to or maybe referring to somebody, especially in the consulting practice.
Right.
It will be
See, it depends in what context or where you are using this. But from learning point of view, usually many a time अपन boss ही use करते हैं. We know that he is my boss, and it goes very well with most of us, right? He is my boss. Many a time we take pride also, and many a time we use it sarcastically also, right? We all know it. Not all bosses are good. We all know that also. Many a time, many bosses.
Sir, I want to contribute one thing.
Yes.
It's like a levels, na sir. It's like levels.
Yeah, it's hierarchy. See, what we are talking indirectly is hierarchy, right? Hierarchy. When we say my team members, I am their boss. I am their superior, right? What Kripal said was what? Kripal, can you repeat it again?
So the practice is now senior colleagues and junior colleagues.
Yeah,
so that's how we refer.
Yeah, that can also be taken. But what if you are fitting into junior colleagues only? If you are at the grassroots level of the hierarchy, then probably there won't be anybody who is junior to you, right? So everybody will be senior sort of, right? So anyway, that is an altogether different issue. The question was, who is going to monitor this performance? Somebody who is supervising you, simple as that. Let us use a very broad word, supervisors. Supervisors is somebody who is going to monitor you, simple as that, right? Then evaluate the progress. This is what? This is very important. You are trying to match the goals which you have set, the goals, objectives which you have defined for yourself, and you are going to try to match the progress. कि अब तक कितना achieve कर पाए? If 2 years if I want my sales growth to be 100%, then I have to take a review after 6 months or probably 3 months. How much percentage we have improvised? Whether it is 10% or are we still there only? Means we are not able to grow, right? Or is there any negative growth also? All this thing has to be evaluated, and if there is a positive evaluation, I mean to say there is positive signals, then this achievement has to be rewarded. It can be both way, monetary as well as non-monetary, and ultimately this will go to a feedback loop for again defining your organizational objectives. This again I try to simplify. See, this is here. These are the words, and see this superior and subordinates. From the academic point of view, you will find it in almost all books because it is very simple. Wherever you are standing, maybe as I said, if you are at the very bottom level, probably you might not be having any subordinate, right? You all will be your superiors, but these are very commonly used words, right? As I said, slang word can be boss. You can say he is just working under me, can be sort of thing which can be said very unprofessionally, but this is used most of the time. Maybe country wise may change, I am not very much aware about that, and this is how the things are going to work. This is the external environment. We have already defined what exactly is going to be our external environment, and this is all which belongs to our internal environment. In fact, stakeholders, other stakeholders like your shareholders, your vendor and all can also contribute. You can also take them into this picture. You can also ask them to set themselves, align themselves from the organizational point of view. And how can that be done? You can tell them that this is the quality we are looking out for, particularly the example of vendors. If you want the component to have such and such quality, because your end product you want to be of that quality, so you'll be dictating those goals, those objectives to your vendors also, to your suppliers. You have to align their objectives also with the organizational objectives. So it's not only the employees of the organization, but you have to align the organizational objectives with all the stakeholders. Now, stakeholders you all know. People who are directly and indirectly related to your organization's performance, right? As I said, vendor is one example, suppliers are synonym for it, stakeholders, right? So these are stakeholders in terms of shareholders. So they should also be knowing what exactly are the organizational objectives, and these are all the advantages, right? These are very simple in nature. Obviously, MBA does have plenty of advantages. because everybody, there is a sense of belongingness, because participation of each and every employee is needed. And this is what sense of importance, this will give you each individual employee a sense of importance, that I am part of the organization, I am contributing towards achieving the organizational objective, right? I am involved, I'm part of discussion, I'm part of decision making. So this will give a sense of importance to each and every employee, right from the top to the bottom, to right to the grassroots level. It will help in optimization of resources. People will be they will be aware what exactly they want to achieve, and how effectively and efficiently, again two very important keywords, how effectively and efficiently they are going to achieve it, right? So these are all the personalized objectives, which will lead to what? Personalized objective also. I know what exactly I am there in the organization, मेरा role क्या है, नहीं तो I do not know what I am working for. So there has to be personalization, right? Personalization will lead to all this thing, efficiency, then sense of importance, resource optimization, and clear expectation. I'll be knowing that this is what is expected out of me, because many a time there is role ambiguity. We never know why I am being recruited and what exactly I am doing is not matching out. So that expectation, you never know what exactly is your superiors or your top management is expecting from you. So this will lead to all this thing, right? And they are again overlapping or interconnected. They do not stand out alone on themselves, right? They are overlapping and they are interconnected. And disadvantages. Disadvantage, as I said, it requires planning, and planning, we all know, is time consuming, right? To do planning, you have to commit certain time for that. Without putting clear vision, clear objectives, knowing what exactly you want, putting it on paper, discussing it out, you will never be able to do MEU, right? So it is time consuming, obviously, but it does have not many advantages compared to disadvantages. Even though it may look like 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages, but disadvantages will be overtaken slowly and clearly. Disadvantages will be overtaken by these advantages if you are doing this feedback loop is clear with you. Deviation obviously is going to happen. For any planning, deviation is must. It may be positive or negative. Deviation is bound to happen. आपने बोला मुझे CJPA 7.2 चाहिए, तो there might be certain deviation. You may be able to achieve 7.0 only, right? Or you may get 7.5. Talking about individualistic objectives, right? But deviation is permitted, but if you have a proper feedback loop, then that deviation can be minimized, both positive as well as negative. Positive, all we know, is always welcome. If you are targeting for 100% growth, and if you are able to achieve 110, no management will say no, we were planning for 100%. Why 110? Nobody will say. If you have targeted for 7 CGPA, and if you get 8 CGPA, you will be more than happy. Your colleagues will be more than happy. Your parents will be more than happy, right? And there is too much expectation. This is obviously going to come because of what? Because of this clear expectation. Because the expectations are clear. So this may be taken by few employees as more than expectation. कि मैं तो इतना ही कर सकता हूँ. The management is expecting what? Plenty from me. Right? There can be negative competition amongst the employee, right? Because everybody is having a different objective, different set of goals, and this may lead to what? Unhealthy competition if it is not supervised properly, right? So this is all about today's session. I hope I am being followed, and all of you understood what I said. Any doubt and query after that? I will stop sharing. Anything which you would like to ask?
No, thank you, sir.
So just one small thing, right? I mean, the sessions are great and quite easy to follow. Experiential.
Thank you so much.
The only,
and in fact,
the
you are also
only,
contributing a good. Yeah. Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks, sir. The only point was like, sir, I mean, these are all interesting concepts. Like, sir, I think it will be very helpful, like at some point in time, like during the session, like if we can have like some good Q&As, question and answers, right?
Okay. Yes.
Some MCQs and all that, right? Yes, like what kind of questions can come from this subject, right?
Yeah, so I'm getting you. Most suggested this thing, most welcome suggestion, rather I would say. It's a wonderful thing. But see, we are indirectly doing it in terms of what interaction, right? I'm putting you certain questions, and you people are answering. Almost all my questions are being answered up till now. Not even single question went unanswered. Maybe they were not very much appropriate, but they were not wrong. Let me clarify that also. You people are good. See, this is what is expected from a management student, and this is what is going to help you out. Definitely MCQ. See what I have done, Abhishek. I've incorporated these MCQs in my concept videos, which will be shooting probably this coming Friday, right? So those your suggestion is you're thinking from the management point of view. Management want MCQs at the end of all concept videos. They are calling it as quizzes, right, in terms of MCQs. So 2 MCQs you'll always find in all the concept video, which will ask you the question on whatever has been discussed up till now. But next point of time, next session I'll take care. We'll be having few MCQs, so that I don't have to ask question. I'll be just displaying that screen, and one by one you can just point out what is correct option and what is the reason behind it. The things will be very simple for me also as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Yeah, that is all for today. Please take care and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
And bye bye.
Thank you, sir.